Hello, I'm Patty Milne, Marion County Commissioner and host of Marion County, Your Community Partner. We've had a great summer so far. There's always so much to see and do around Marion County. We've been to the Marion County Fair. We previewed and took part in Striking Out Meth in Marion County. Both of those were July events. We're into August, and September's going to be here before we know it. And as the summer fades and fall is upon us, we start to think about our local family farms and all the activities, the pumpkin patches, the harvest festivals, and all of the great fall foods that are available on the farm, and all the activities that we can take our children to. So today, to talk about agriculture and family farms in Marion County, we're here at Easy Orchard to talk to John Zielinski, who is the owner of Easy Orchard, and Derek Godwin, who is the Regional Director of the Oregon Extension Services in our area. We're going to talk about what happens on family farms such as this, and we're going to talk about the future of farming and the products, and the fact that Marion County is #1 in agriculture in the state of Oregon. We continue to maintain that position. It is our #1 industry in Marion County too, and it's so important to our local economy. We'll be talking about that. And Easy Orchards, of course, it's such a beautiful place here. It's easy to find on Cordon Road in Hazel Green. And again, so much to see and do here. The store is full of fresh products and some great gift items. Again, this is just one wonderful example of the many, many other family farms around Marion County, and we hope that you will get out and visit at least one of them, or make it a point to get around the county and visit as many as you possibly can. Before the fall harvest season kicks into gear, I'm happy to have an opportunity today to be here with John Zielinski, the owner of Easy Orchard, Cordon Road and Hazel Green, and also with Derek Godwin, who is the West Central Region Oregon Extension Services Director, Manager, Administrator, thank you. I also want to mention that John is the current president of the Marion County Farm Bureau. So we're going to have a great discussion today and talk about farming and farm operations and what family farms are doing to expand their business and be this integral part of the Marion County economy, our #1 industry. And what we at Marion County, we the Board of Commissioners even signed a proclamation acknowledging the importance of agriculture in our local economy. So we have a lot to talk about. And first of all, John, I'm going to turn to you, is give us a little background about Easy Orchards and your family farm here and what you're all about.
Okay, well, Easy Orchards is actually my two brothers and I, Mark and Kevin Zielinski, and we farm predominantly orchards. We have apples, pears, a few peaches, hazelnuts, and we also grow some pumpkins and a little bit of corn. And we've been farming in this area, well, the three of us as brothers have been farming here since we got out of school. And my father before that. And Easy Orchards is actually named after my grandfather, Edward Zielinski. And he grew up in this area. He was 12th of 13 children. And so we've been farming here for a long time. My family history goes back to the 1870s. Great. So a long history in this area. Our business, with three of us brothers, we kind of wanted to divide things up so that we wouldn't be tripping over each other. And so I run our farm market and our fall harvest festival. And my brother Kevin is our cider maker. We have a line of hard cider that we've been started producing in the last 4 or 5 years. And he also helps with orchard operations and wholesale marketing. And my brother Mark is the bookkeeper and also helps with the orchard operations. So we are diversified, and so we're a wholesale farm, retail, and our cider production.
And some of these aspects of your farming have developed over recent years. Talk about how you make the decision to grow, diversify, and change your farm practices.
Sure. When my grandfather started, his first farm that he purchased was over in Polk County in Sheridan, actually. Being 12th of 13 children, there was no land here. So his first farm he purchased in 1929 and just outside Sheridan. And then the economy in 1929 kind of went south. And but he worked very hard, and by 1945 was able to move back to this area. And we've been farming here on family land since 1945. And as far as the diversity, at that point, Grandpa was just farming predominantly to sell to produce houses, some grocery stores direct, that type of thing. And our first venture into retail was a card table at the end of their driveway selling baskets of peaches. And then it became out of the side of our barn. And then my father in the 70s added a section to our warehouse or our main facility with some overhead doors. So we had a farm stand there that was open seasonally, peaches, pears, and then apples through the winter if you could catch someone around the buildings. With three of us brothers coming into the business, we knew we needed to diversify. And so we had an opportunity in 1991 to purchase this corner property here at Cordon and Hazel Green Roads. And it had been a repair shop. Paul Rickard, who had developed some of the onion picking machines for down on Lake LaBiche. And so we tore down his shop and built our current farm market at that point. The cider, that expansion was more out of the interest of my brother, Kevin. He was interested. We've always made a little bit of wine for ourselves, and then we saw that there might be some potential for hard cider. And so he's very interested in that, and it has been going great. We've had wonderful reviews. Bon Appetit and some other magazines have rated us very highly, and so it's gone very well. So part of the expansions are by interest and part by necessity.
Very good. So what, as you move forward and you have young girls, family, the next generation, what do you see in family farming in the next generation?
Well, for our farm, we're still to be determined. My daughters are young enough, and they haven't determined if they want to become part of the business. My brother's children, there might be one or two that might have some interest there. But everyone's still young enough that we haven't hashed all of that out. I have some nieces and nephews that are old enough they've decided to seek jobs elsewhere. But we hope that we can continue to future generations, but we continue to grow the business regardless, just so that we can stay viable and productive.
Great. Well, you and your family, Easy Orchards, has been a huge part of the community too. You're involved in a lot of things, and how does that involvement help you with your business and farming in general, and then also your position as the president of the Marion County Farm Bureau?
I know there has been some benefit to the retail side of our business. On the wholesale side, probably not as much with our involvement, other than if you don't get involved, sometimes you don't know what's happening until it's happening to you.
Right.
And so it's better to be ahead of the curve than behind the curve. And so that's why we, I like to get involved in things. I follow the example of my mother, who served on the State Board of Agriculture and was president of Oregon Women for Agriculture and Marion Polk Women for Ag, and she's currently on the Marion Polk Food Share Board. So I think it's important, if you're part of a community, to give back to the community. So I like serving as on the Marion County Farm Bureau Board, and hope to continue to serve in some capacity with agriculture or other community service sort of positions into the future.
Great. Before we go to Derek and talk about extension, talk a bit about the Marion County Farm Bureau, though. What role does the Farm Bureau play in helping farmers, helping agriculture? What are the focuses of the Farm Bureau at this time?
So Marion County Farm Bureau is one of the more active farm bureaus in the state. And I think part of that is because we're here in Salem, where the legislature meets. And I know this past session, a number of our board members and even just general members of the Farm Bureau, Marion County Farm Bureau, went to testify at the legislature. We testified. There was a toll road that they had talked about putting in. I know the commissioners were opposed to that, and we testified against that also. And other issues too. There were some different labor issues, and there were farming issues that we testified about. And so we also have been very involved. We've kind of taken a little more positive turn in the last few years with Marion County Farm Bureau, trying to be more active with the farming community. So we have, this past winter, we held a class on renewable power. So there, we talked about solar, wind, hydro, missing one. But anyway, so we had a renewable power seminar. We work with the Adopt a Farmer program through the Agribusiness Council. We donate money to the Ag in the Classroom program, Ag Fest. Let me see, look at my notes here. We also pay for, in conjunction with Polk County Farm Bureau, to put public service announcements on the radio at this time of the year in the summer, when there's combines and swathers and bean pickers going down the road, to tell people to slow down, to watch out for that big farm equipment. Just general information out there for the public to give the farmers a little bit of leeway, a little bit of a break at this busy season. And I would just add that, it's a good idea, because those combines or swathers are much bigger than your car, and they will always win. So give them plenty of room and time. Marion County Farm Bureau also has scholarships. We, for those who are studying ag or children of farmers, we give scholarships predominantly to Oregon State, since that's where the ag school is. Let's see. Also, the Oregon Farm Bureau puts on the Summer Learning Institute, where teachers throughout the state can sign up for this if they're working towards their master's degree. And they go to I think it's a 2 or 3 week intensive program, and they get 3 or 4 college credits towards their master's degree. And Marion County Farm Bureau contributes towards that. So we're trying to do a lot to give back to the farming community, to listen to farmers, see what concerns they have, and work on their behalf. Because a single farmer out there doesn't always have the information. He might not get clued in if he's just out on his own, but to be part of a bigger organization can help.
Great. Well, speaking of Oregon State, going to move over to Derek with the Oregon State Extension Services, and he's got his orange shirt on with the OS. And so, Derek, tell us about what is Extension Services and your role in particular. There have been a lot of changes at Extension in the last couple of years. So give us some background on Extension at large, and then your position and what you do.
Okay, sure. Well, first of all, OSU Extension Service, we engage the residents within the counties and communities with research-based information, and we try to help people improve their businesses and the economy, try to foster healthy youth and families, and sustain natural resources and productive communities. So that's our mission. We have 5 areas that we deliver services within. One being agriculture that we're talking about today. Another one is forestry, in particular the family forest woodland owners. A third is the family and community health. A fourth, 4-H youth development. And then the fifth being gardening, urban gardening and landscaping, and working specifically with master gardeners. So those are that's our mission and our program. For me specifically, we went through some reorganization and we have regional administrators, and that's what I am. And the region I serve is Marion, Polk, Yamhill, Lynn, and Benton.
Wow, that's a very, very large and very ag-intensive region.
Exciting, yeah, for certain. So at the 5 counties, and the things that I do is I work on the county side of budgets related to extension, and also provide the leadership for our services within the counties, what we actually do in those 5 program areas. And then finally, I supervise the program faculty.
Great. Would you talk a little bit about the changes? I know both of you have heard me say this, that when these changes came about, suddenly my phone was ringing off the hook from farmers saying, where am I going to go to get information, and what's going to happen to research, and who's going to be available to help us understand the new, whether it's chemicals, fertilizers and sprays and et cetera, et cetera. So what changes happen, and what does it really mean on the ground and to farmers like John?
Sure, yeah. Well, we've gone through a lot of changes, in particular for our faculty, our extension, what we call county agents. We've lost a lot of positions over the last, 8 years or so. And so what that means is these folks are out on the ground helping serve the community or helping doing applied research, and there's fewer of them to provide that assistance. Luckily, we still have strong county support, and so we still try to keep our feet to the ground and those connections, but we certainly have lost our footprint, as you would say, for the counties. So those are the big changes. Also of the positions that are remaining, they tend to be more regional in nature and more specialist focused, as opposed to what we've had in the past. So,
talk about the research center that's just a little north of us here. What happens there, and how does that help us in Marion County? How do we benefit? How do our farmers and ag-related businesses benefit from the research center?
Okay. Yeah, so we have a research center, North Willamette Research and Extension Center, and they do a variety of projects up there, applied research projects. So a few examples, we have the largest organic blueberry and blackberry and raspberry test plots in the world. And so they're looking at everything from fertilizers to weed control to producing the best berry, whether it be for muffins or fresh on the table or frozen. So we have the berry plots. We're also looking at new types of berry plants. For example, looking at a blueberry tree. So we have a researcher that's doing some crosses where you have the high quality fruit producing blueberries, and you graft them with blueberries that grow more like a tree. And so the benefit here is that you end up with a blueberry that's a plant that's higher off the ground and easier to mechanical harvest, and less waste, less food is wasted. We have other areas working with nursery plants, in particular looking at ways for integrated pest management. How can we reduce disease, reduce other pests? Christmas trees production is another area where we're doing research. Another area that you probably wouldn't know or wouldn't think of happening at the farm, and that is looking at urban landscaping plants. We have a faculty member that's looking at a whole variety of species that would grow well in the urban environment where soils are really heavily compacted, topsoil is gone, and also trying to have these plants survive with very little to no water or fertilizer. So it's a pretty neat research plot up there. So a variety of research. I would say that most of our ag programs are related to on-farm research and then sharing this with farmers, helping them with their productivity or reducing costs or creating new markets.
And haven't you folks been involved with the hazelnut production too, and
Yes.
some of the newer varieties?
Yes, yeah, we have a hazelnut faculty member out of Yamhill County that serves the region, and that's an example of what kind of hazelnut varieties can we produce that is not affected by the blight and gives you lots of production and very more resistant. So
I know on our farm we planted one of the varieties that was suggested by Extension Service, and so that was definitely some value that we realized from the Extension Service.
All right. Well, it's good. Good to hear.
There you go, example right here. So Extension helps farmers learn and share the research with farmers and others related in ag. But talking about education, there are a lot of comments, there's interest in how do we get particularly children to know where does milk come from, where do the berries come from, where do the hazelnuts come from? They don't come from the grocery store. So what's happening with both of you in the areas that you're both involved in? What are you doing to help educate particularly children about farming and food and healthy eating and
Right. So Extension provides education for like urban residents and youth in a variety of different ways. Some of the things actually John mentioned that OSU is involved in and partners with, and that is the ag in the classroom curriculums that teachers can use for various age groups. There's also our summer ag institutes where teachers can come and learn a variety of curriculum, how to integrate agriculture into the curriculum they use. But also is in our traditional extension programs that we really have a lot of youth involvement as well as urban residents. So, for example, our 4-H youth development, a whole variety of activities. It's not just livestock. It's all types of projects, including robotics and a lot of science, technology, engineering, and math focus things as well. So we have 4-H youth development. We have the family and community health program that talks about nutrition, food preservation, and in health. And then we also have our Master Gardener program. We train Master Gardeners, and they do a variety of services helping urban residents, obviously, but they also tie in with youth education as well. So kind of doing a whole variety of things.
great. So I'd like both of you to touch a little bit now on, as we work to wrap up here, the impact that agriculture has on our local economy. And as we started this segment with, that ag is the #1 industry in Marion County, and we understand that. We commissioners understand that. We took a very strong stand with a proclamation. But on the ground, what does agriculture mean to our local economy? We continue to be #1 statewide also in the production. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. You have ways. One that you're mentioning is the gross farm gate sales. So the price that farmers received as the product leaves the farm, so to speak. And just in terms of that, Marion County leads the state in those numbers. I think, what did we say? It was about 639 million, this past year.
The most recent information.
Yeah, and that's out of a state that's 5.2 billion. So we're, what is it, roughly 12% or so, I guess, of the total dollars there. And maybe I'll mention some of the products because I think that's pretty interesting. People probably want to know. So the #1 for Marion County is nursery products, followed by dairy, perennial ryegrass, chicken eggs, greenhouse products, Christmas trees, blueberries, wheat, tall fescue, and then finishing out with our own, the Marion blackberry and other blackberries. So, I mean, it just gives you a sense of how wide the variety is here. So that's one way of thinking of economic impact. There are a few other ways, and that I've talked to some economists about. One is looking at our gross domestic product, which, as I understand, is our market value of all of our officially recognized goods and services. And economists estimate that agriculture is approximately about 6.4% of Salem's gross domestic product. And then if you throw in the food and beverage industry as well, we're at about 8.5%. And that may not seem like a whole lot, but that's easily 10 to 12 times the national average. So it's significant here.
And Derek, I would say that it isn't just the value at the farm or the farm gate value, but when that money comes back to the farm, farmers are buying equipment. They're using an attorney to drop some papers or something. The banks, everything that farms need to survive, and they are sometimes large businesses with a lot of employees and everything. All that all trickles down. So it isn't just the value of the farm items, but that multiplier effect that spreads through the whole economy. I really think of ag as the true backbone of this body of Marion County. I mean, we hold things together and are really part of that economic engine.
Yeah.
So, there's another aspect too of when I get around to we have 20 incorporated communities around Marion County, and almost every community began based around ag or forest up the canyon. And so that too, and when I see also, talking earlier about your involvement in the community, your family's involvement, when farming isn't going well and the recession was evidence, and of course, thank goodness, we're slowly working our way back out of that. But when farming is feeling the effects of a recession or a down economy, you're not able to support the local school. You're not able to support Chamber of Commerce activities, and you've been very involved in the Salem Chamber. So there's even more. That ripple effect hits everything that happens in a community and makes communities livable. And that's we need a strong economy. We need strong agriculturally related businesses to keep all aspects of the community healthy and attracting new businesses here.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree. I think at John's point and your point, Patty, there was a recent report that was done by OSU in the state of Oregon looking at the total ag economic footprint, the direct expenditures, the indirect, and even some of the other induced expenditures. Anyway, what they came up with, some figures here, that agriculture represents roughly 23% of the region's total sales. That's Marion, Polk, Yamhill. So 23%, 21% of the total jobs. So that's pretty amazing in itself. And then 17% of the total value added for the region. So yeah, so ag it's a huge factor here. Yeah, and I agree. Yeah.
And statewide, in Oregon agriculture, I believe about 80% of the ag commodities are shipped out of state. So that's new money coming in, not just trading dollars here within our economy, but bringing new money from outside into Oregon, which is wonderful for our economy.
Yeah, well, that's great. Any final comments? Is there anything we didn't touch on that you'd like to be sure to share? I know pretty soon you'll be getting ready for Harvest Fest.
Yeah, then you can probably hear some children in the background.
We do right now.
We definitely try and keep agricultural education as an important part of our business here at Easy Orchards. We have a fall harvest festival every year, and during that festival, we open the farm to school children for school tours and pumpkin patch tours. And we'll have 6,000 to 7,000 children visit our farm, and they get to go on a hayride, and we talk about how apples grow and what happens in each of the 4 seasons. And each student gets to pick an apple and a pumpkin and They get to go through a corn maze, which this year is in the shape of the state of Oregon. So there's all sorts of educational opportunities there too. And then they get to see some animals in a petting zoo, all farm animals. We don't go for any exotic animals or anything, just sheep and pigs and a cow and chickens, and a goat. And so it's a great opportunity for children to get out and see a farm. And to me, I'm always surprised. It's not just the students. Sometimes it's their parents or even teachers who say, gosh, I've never picked an apple. I've never been on a farm. And so it's interesting to see, and I'm glad that we can offer that to them, and hopefully they'll grow in their knowledge of Oregon agriculture, at least from our little corner of Marion County. We also, just to plug our business, we are open to the general public every day in October also, with a pumpkin patch and our corn maze and the petting zoo, all that fun stuff. We try and keep our Fall Harvest Festival very much an agricultural experience. We aren't a carnival. We don't have any wild rides or anything like that. It's truly about coming to a farm and having a farm experience.
Great. There's nothing like learning something on site, hands-on, and that's what you're providing for these youngsters. I see we're going to wrap this up by, you're going to have the opportunity here, John, to showcase your products. So as these ladies are bringing it over to us, oh my goodness, who needs lunch?
Like blackberry or peach?
Oh, I'll go with the peach.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So,
John, you probably never get a chance.
now, thank you so much. Now, John, talk about what's just been given to us here.
Okay, well, the whipped cream's melting. So
Go ahead.
So one of the things that we've added with our farm market is for any farmer, if they can add value to an item, it helps add to their bottom line. And people love shortcake. And people love donuts, and so we make both seasonally. We make donuts we make strawberry donuts, blueberry donuts, marionberry donuts. This fall we'll be making apple cider donuts and pumpkin donuts. So yep, I'm starting to drip there. So we make lots of different seasonal things, and in the summer we are well known for our shortcakes. We start with strawberry shortcake, and then move to mixed berry shortcakes, and then peach shortcake wraps up the season. And so it's just a nice either shortcake biscuit or cake, ice cream made in Eugene, and fresh whipped cream and fruit, and it's delicious.
Well, this is fantastic. So our viewers are going to be very, very jealous that we're sitting here enjoying these shortcakes, and there's no better way to sell your product than to have a live demonstration. Well, I want to thank John Zielinski, Easy Orchards, and Derek Godwin, Oregon State Extension Services, for joining me today. Easy Orchard is just one of many, many of these wonderful family farms and farm stands around Marion County and in our region. So be sure to get out and visit Easy Orchards or one of our other farms and enjoy all of the fall activities that are coming up. They're typically listed in the local paper. Chambers of Commerce typically have a list of what's happening where and when. So
there's actually a list on the Oregon Farm Bureau website of farm markets and farm stands there also. So
great. So
support local agriculture.
Support your local farmer.